Yes, Grishma, Ashish, Sana, switch on the video. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
So we have already completed that chapter. The rest of the portions are deleted ones, the concept learning and all. Okay. Transfer of learning, concept learning, all those concepts are deleted. Applications also. So we'll just discuss the questions, the review questions, back text questions. So take out the textbook. Did you have any other class now before this? No. Why are the videos off again? Please switch on the videos, Ashish, Grishma, and Sana. What is happening? This person is continuously coming and entering the waiting room. Okay, first question. Who will read? Aishwarya, read.
What is learning? What are its distinguishing features?
Yes. What is learning? Definition. Take your lecture notes also along with the textbook. That will be much better.
Learning may be defined as any relative permanent change in
Yes.
behavior or behavioral potential
Hmm.
produced by experience.
Okay. And what are the features that we discussed?
Learning involves some kind of experience. A
Yeah.
single experience can lead to learning. Behavioral changes
If
that
you
occur due to
down, please note down. Yes. One by one. Can you read once more?
learning involves some kind of experience.
Then.
A single experience can lead to learning.
Hmm.
Behavioral changes that occur due to learning are relatively permanent.
Hmm.
Learning involves a sequence of psychological events.
Hmm.
It is an inferred process and is different from performance.
Yes. Okay. This was the first thing that we discussed in that chapter. Definition of learning along with its basic features. Okay. Yes. Any doubt? Do you need that once more? Yes or no? Fine. Okay. So the next question, how does yeah, who will read Amal? Amal read out. Second question.
How does the classic condition demonstrate learning by association?
Yes. How does classical conditioning demonstrate learning by association? How's that? So when this such questions come, look at the marks. Yes, if it is for 2 marks question, just explain what classical conditioning is. It is the pairing of stimulus and learning by this. This is a simple form of conditioning. Then there was a famous experiment by Ivan Pavlov. All those things. Okay. If it is an essay question, you will have to explain the whole experiment. You have to explain what unconditional stimulus, what a conditioned stimulus is, what unconditioned response and conditioned responses are. Understood? Okay. So who can tell me the experiment? Just a rough idea of the experiment. The dog experiment. Ashish.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ivan Pavlov
Clear.
used a dog.
I can't hear you. Can you place the mic towards your mouth and speak? Okay.
Uh, Ivan Pavlov used a dog for his experiment.
Hmm?
he used a tube to his throat to collect the saliva.
Mouth.
Uh,
The surgery was done and the tube was attached to the dog's mouth to collect the saliva. Okay, then.
um, at the beginning, he used to bell the ring and he gave the food.
Bell the ring.
This process
Ring the bell.
bell the ring.
Not bell the ring. To ring the bell.
Ring
He
the
used
bell.
well. And then
Then he gave food. This process continues for a long.
Hmm.
Then
Which process
here
long?
ring bell and the food after food.
Well, food was provided and then the dog salivated. Okay, this process continued for long. Then
Then once he rang the bell, but food was not given,
mhm,
but dog started salivating.
yes. Okay. And this is called, this learning by association is called
Pavlov's experiment.
Pavlov's experiment. I agree. But what is this learning principle or learning theory called?
Classical conditioning.
Classical conditioning. Very good. Okay. So the bell, initially the bell was a neutral stimulus because it did not give out salivation. Because Ivan Pavlov, when he just rang the bell for the first time, the dog did not salivate. Okay, so it was a neutral stimulus. So neutral stimulus was paired with the unconditioned stimulus, which is the automatic one. Food gives the salivation. That is an automatic response. So automatic ones are always unconditioned. There is no condition. There is no conditioning happening there. No, because by birth we have an instinct or we have a reflexive action towards food. That is salivation. Okay, so that is unconditioned stimulus. Food is an unconditioned stimulus, and the salivation to the food is an unconditioned response. But what are we conditioning here? We are conditioning the dog to salivate to the bell. So the bell is associated with the food. Understood? That is the pairing or association taking place. The bell and the food is being paired, or the bell and the food is being associated. That is why classical conditioning is known as the associative learning. Okay? So I hope the experiment is somewhat clear to everyone. Yes? Yes. And this experiment you will have to explain if it is an essay question, then the unconditioned stimulus, conditioned stimulus, unconditioned response, and conditioned response. Okay, and just give a basic definition that this is a stimulus response reaction or the pairing association learning. You can give any one description about classical conditioning, and don't forget the name of Ivan Pavlov. Okay, what is the spelling? Ivan Pavlov. Anybody? Sana.
EVAN.
What?
EVAN.
V. EV. What was the rest?
AN.
AN.
P. AULO.
AULO. No. It is IVAN, Ivan Pavlov. PAVLOV, Pavlov. Okay, so probably in the next class we'll have a dictation. Yes. We are already ahead of all the topics. We'll have dictation. That's better. Otherwise, you're not going to learn for sure. See, do you know how much struggle? I'm trying to find out what the answer is. That is one thing. From all this handwriting, I'm trying to find and read out what the answer is. And in the middle of that, all these multiple spellings are there. It's really, it's a big, big struggle, I have to tell you. Next time, I'll have to make you guys exchange your papers and correct. Then you'll know the struggle. I don't remember whose paper it was, but One person has written it very beautifully, just slanting writing. I don't remember whose handwriting that was. Slanting. It's just, it's like the old manuscripts you see, like that. Slanting handwriting. And spellings are also somewhat fine. Okay, so classical conditioning is over. Next question, who will read? Elvina.
Define operant conditioning. Discuss the factors that influence the course of operant conditioning.
And conditioning.
Operants are those behaviors or responses which are emitted by animals and human beings voluntarily and under their control. Conditioning of operant behavior is called operant conditioning.
Did we write a definition for that? Operant condition. Just check your lecture note. If not, we'll write now. No. Yes or no?
Yes.
What was it? Just read out.
Operant or instrumental conditioning is a form of learning in which behavior is learned, maintained, or changed through its consequence.
That is the definition. Okay. What is operant conditioning? You'll have to write that. Just read it once more, Aishwarya.
Operant or instrumental conditioning is a form of learning in which behavior is learned, maintained, or changed through its consequence.
Yes. The main key terms in that is, one is consequence. Okay. The behaviors are learned, maintained, or done anything with the help of consequences. It is based on these consequences that we decide what to do or what not to do. Okay, that is the main thing, the consequences. And to get more marks or to get adequate marks, you can add, it is otherwise known as instrumental conditioning. If instrumental conditioning is asked for the exam, you will write, it is otherwise known as operant conditioning, so that you can score marks easily. Okay. So the consequences and this other name you have to note. Then, yes, then what is the other question? Discuss the factors that influence the course of operant conditioning. That also we have discussed clearly in that chapter. The determinants of operant conditioning. What are they? Check. Elvina. See?
Reinforcement and consequences.
Yes. Then?
Reinforce and types of reinforcement.
Type of reinforcement. Then?
Number of reinforcement and other features. Schedules of reinforcement.
Reinforcement. What's up?
And in schedules of reinforcement, two types: continuous reinforcement and partial reinforcement.
These are the determinants or the factors that influence or determine the operant condition. Okay, that's directly given in the textbook and we have discussed in the class also. Then the next question, Ashish, read.
A good role model is very important for a growing up child. Discuss the kinds of learning that supports it.
Okay, which is the kind of learning that discusses the model? Imitation, modeling. Do you want option?
Social learning.
Yeah, social learning, otherwise known as
Observational learning.
observational learning. Remember, Ashish? Observation learning. What was the experiment? Any clue? No. The children learned the aggressive behavior by looking at some videos. Remember? If I say the next term, you will remember. I hope you remember. Bobo doll. No? Still no? Bobo doll experiment. We learned that long back, isn't it? It's been few days. Ashish, do you remember?
I remember Bobo doll.
You remember Bobo doll. Do you remember Albert Bandura?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Albert Bandura's experiment was the Bobo doll experiment, and the groups of children were shown the videos, and remember they learned the aggressive behaviors. When punishments were given, they did not learn it,
Yes.
but later on, those who saw that the model was being rewarded, they exhibited their aggressive behavior towards the Bobo doll. That is, they started to kick, they started to hit, and they started to attack the Bobo doll. Okay, so that is the experiment that you have to explain there. Then you can write, if it's a long answer one, you can write an introduction. This is social, it is also called social learning because people learn from their social environment by observing. Earlier it was known as imitation. Then it is also called modeling because we have a model whom we observe and then we imitate their behaviors. Okay, yes. Then what else? Next question, Sana, can you read?
Explain the procedures for studying verbal learning.
Learning. We have learned, I think, 3 of them. Yes, we did one activity, no, in class. Remember, list of words we paired with the
Yes.
nonsense syllables. I think Aishwarya did, no? Yeah, Meghna was our quizmaster. So what were them? What were they? First one was paired. Paired. Check.
Paired associates learning.
Learning. Then
Then serial learning.
serial one. Yes. And then
Then free recall.
recall. Yes. Very good. So in paired associates, we pair each words and then the subject or the participant is supposed to recollect the pair. And the serial one, the correct order is important. The correct serial, they have to recall in the correct serial order. Okay, that is if one is said, they have to tell two. If they make a mistake in two, the experimenter will give them the clue that this is two. Then they are supposed to say the next one, that is three. Understood? Then in the free recall, you can recall from anywhere and everywhere. In that list, the order is not important. The words are the important are given more importance there. Okay, free recall, which means you can recall freely in any order. They are the 3 methods. Then next one, who's left? Everybody got a chance. Aishwarya, read next one.
What is skill? What are the stages through which skill learning develops?
Skill learning. That was a very small topic we discussed before exam, I think. Yes, just before exam. Yeah. What is a skill? Definition, the abilities.
Skill refers to the ability to carry out complex tasks smoothly and effectively.
Yeah. And what are the stages? The 3 main stages. Fits, given by Fits, I hope. I showed you a box and I taught you 3 main stages. Remember, we discussed about learning dance. Yes, first the tutor will give you many introductions. You will collect many information. Remember? What were the stages? Others?
Cognitive, associative, autonomous.
Cognitive, associative, and autonomous. They are the 3 main stages given by who gave this 3 Fits. Okay. Those who don't know, please note that answer. When you hear skill learning, remember that example of our dance. Learning of dance, where the tutor gives the instructions, then we try practicing it, we make so many mistakes, and finally we become masters of that skill, such that we can even teach another student. Okay, we master the skill. That is the thing happening in the final phase or final stage. That is, we can dance in a flow. The steps come in a flow to us. Okay, that was the sixth question. Now the next one, seventh one. Yes, Amal.
How can you distinguish between generalization and discrimination?
Yes, generalization and discrimination. That also we have written. Let's see. Check your book. After operant conditioning and classical conditioning, we discussed about generalization and discrimination. Generalization was like similar stimulus are given similar responses. Remember our kid who was fearful or afraid of the flying objects, flying insect. Yes, that is generalization. Once he got a bee sting, and finally he showed the fearful response towards all the flying objects, that is the remote controlled drone, then the remote controlled toy, to all those things, to even to mosquitoes. The kid showed a similar response. That is generalization. Discrimination is the opposite of it, that is the ability to distinguish between the two different stimulus. Understood? Do you have any definitions or anything? No. No. Then check that page. It's just after that conditioning. Page 115. You might have underlined in the textbook itself. The phenomenon of responding similarly to similar stimuli is known as generalization. That is the one. Okay. And when a learned response occurs or is elicited by new stimulus, it is also called generalization. Now, discrimination is a response due to difference, that is, responding differently to different stimulus. Okay. Now, the next question. You don't need that eighth one. You can cancel that. That's it. That's from the deleted portion. Eighth one. Transfer of learning is not there to study. Then why is motivation a prerequisite for learning? And the next question also, what does the notion of preparedness for learning mean? That is the portion from the topic that I told you to read last day. Did anyone read? Not even looking at the screen. Okay, read the topic and find out the answer and come for the next class. Question number 9 and 10. Okay. Now, do you remember which portion that was? Just, I should just tell the page number.
One 25.
Where?
125.
No, not that.
What is
124. 123 to 124. That factors facilitating learning. Okay. Factors facilitating learning. Okay. So find the answers for question number 9 and 10 and come for the next class. Then explain the different forms of cognitive learning. If I remember it right, we learned about two types of cognitive learning. What were they? Chimpanzees and rats. What was the chimpanzee's experiment? Sultan, remember? Meghna would have said if she was here. It's her favorite person's experiment. Amal, sleeping? Okay. Do you remember
Giving
this
stick,
experiment? Ah, yes, Ashish.
giving stick
Ah, stick. Yes, with the stick and
elongating
huh?
one by one,
What? Wonder Woman.
climbing on the boxes in
Climbing on the boxes and then reaching for
food to eat.
what was the food? Chimpanzees eat chili chicken and fried rice. Common sense, man.
Fruits, vegetables,
Vegetables. What was the thing given in the experiment?
banana.
Ah, banana. Okay. Yeah. So you remember some word. That's more than enough. That and the learning was known as. Suddenly they got the flashbulb idea. What was it called as? The aha experience. Remember, what was the person? Yeah, Archimedes principle. Do you know Archimedes principle? Yeah. And what did he
Yes,
shout out loud when he found
eureka.
Eureka? It's similar to this Eureka, but poor chimpanzee did not know the language, or rather, we didn't know the chimpanzee's language, so we didn't have any Eurekas there. This is somewhat similar to Eureka. Suddenly, an idea popped into the chimpanzee's mind. What was it called? What learning? I'll give you two options: insight learning or latent learning.
Insight.
Insight learning. Okay, then what was latent learning?
Rats experiment.
Rat's experiment. Rat was put inside the
Maze.
maze. Okay, and who did that experiment? Most of the time we forget the person's name. Isn't it? Last time also I asked, you forgot.
Tallman.
Yes. Even we also used to, when we were studying this theory, we also used to forget this person's name because Pavlov's experiment, the Skinner box, is all very, very famous. And our teacher used to repeat that 100,000 times in our class. But this poor Tolman and the rats were underestimated most of the time. Okay, and they were not much discussed in class. And what happens is during the exam also, just before the exam also, we just forgot his name. And then we drew one person with a rat on the shoulder part. That's how we learned the name Tollman. Okay. Yeah. Weird things we do to pass the exam. No? Okay, fine. So, Tollman's experiment was a rat experiment. Rat was put inside the maze. There were how many groups?
3 groups.
Groups. One was rewarded just after coming out of the experiment. The second one was rewarded after the 10th day. And one was rewarded. Was it rewarded? No, that was not at all rewarded. Then latent means hidden. That is the main thing. Latent learning means hidden learning. Then one more important point in that is cognitive maps, the mental representations that we make. So the rats also had these cognitive maps. That's how finally they found out the ways, the shortcuts, the left, right, the turns and all, and then came out fast because they had a reinforcement waiting outside the maze. Okay? Okay. So that was about what learning? Rats experiment. What learning, Ashish?
Latent learning.
Mm-hmm.
Latent.
Then learning. Okay. So latent learning and inside learning, they are the two main methods of or two main learning included in the dash learning. What?
Cognitive.
Cognitive learning. Very good. So that's the answer for question 11. Fine. Then, how can we identify students with learning disabilities? That is the last question. How can we identify students with learning disabilities? Yes. Last day we discussed, no? Most of the things. Symptoms of learning disabilities. Yes. Each person give me one. Amal. Amal, you can start.
Difficulties in reading.
In reading, then
Sometimes they will write the letters like we understand letters left to right to left.
okay.
They may be
Yes. Then Elvina, 1 point.
While doing mathematical problems or activities.
Yes. Complete it. While doing mathematical problems or activities, what happens?
They find it so much difficult.
They find it
So difficult.
so difficult. Okay. They find problems or difficulties in solving the mathematical problems. Then, Ashish. Ashish. Yeah. We spoke about reading. We spoke about mathematics. Then, what else?
Language.
Huh?
Language.
Language problems. Yes. Aishwarya.
They can't sustain attention in one point for a long time. They get easily distracted.
Easily distracted and they distract themselves and others, and then what they will do? Most of them. ADHD, what all things did we discuss? Attention deficit. H stands for anybody?
Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Activity disorder. That's not actually included in this. I'm talking about the attention deficit and the hyperactivity things that some children with learning disability face. Okay, Sana, next point.
They lack sense of time. Sometimes they are late or sometimes they are
Yes,
too early.
they lose the orientation to time and space also. Okay, they lose the orientation to time and space. Like they can't find their way back home on their own, or they can't really find their own classroom. They find it so difficult to find their classrooms. Maybe if the teacher instructs them to go to the office and get something and come, then they can actually find a way to the office or back to the class. So they find it difficult in the orientation to time as well as space. That is one problem. Then anything else that we left out? Check. Attention, reading, then what else with mathematics, then orientation to time and space, then attention problem, hyperactivity problems, language problems, then the words go topsy-turvy, that is they write it upside down, then their left and right, they lose the left and right things. Then what else?
Poor motor coordination.
Motor coordination, their motor skills might be poor, that is they can't open a doorknob. They can't button their dress, they can't tie their shoelaces sometimes. All those things might be difficult. Then anything else to add? That's it.
So many children have dyslexia.
Dyslexia. Dyslexia is the learning
Dysgraphia.
disabilities. Okay. Yes, Ashish, you said something. Tell, no problem. Tell.
Dysgraphia is a disease.
Dysgraphia is also there. There are so many dis things. Dysgraphia, dyslexia, dyscalculia. So many things are there. Okay. So yes, the chapter is over. Now we have one more remaining, and that's a very small chapter and a very interesting chapter, which is memory. Okay, we'll study that in the next class. And before that, read up the whole chapter. Okay, read up the whole chapter, that is learning. I'll give you 1 week, this whole week. And next week we'll conduct one dictation, not oral test, not other test. I want dictation. Okay, you have to study the spellings after this week, or by this weekend we'll discuss the important and tough words, and then we'll have a dictation next week. Fine. Okay, so don't keep it for Sunday night. Start preparing from today onwards. Fine. Agree? Okay. Ashish, agree? Agree? Not so wholehearted,
Uh,
still agree, isn't it?
yes.
Okay, you'll have to do anyway. No other option. Okay, so next day we'll start the human memory. Okay? Yes, thank you then. Any doubt in this? And don't forget the homework also. Question number? Which were the questions, Amal?
Ma'am, 9 and 10.
9 and 10. Okay? Just tell the absentees also. Okay then. See you. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.